A very good morning, my dear Silent Rose family. For today's reflection, I wanted to bring back a theme that we've probably spoken about a few times before, and that is truth. As I started out my day today, I happened to come across three very interesting Instagram posts. And the funny thing is, all three of them, in a way, was about speaking the truth. One of them was a quote by Richard Rohr, which said, "Before the truth sets you free, it tends to make you miserable." The second quote was by G.K. Chesterton, which said, "Each generation is converted by the saint who contradicts it the most." And the third quote was by Saint Bernadette, which said, "My job is to inform, not to convince." Now, if we think about it, across all these three quotes, what we see is a common message that conveying the truth is never going to be easy, especially if it means conveying God's truth. When you stand for God's truth, for you and for the people around you, you may sometimes cause a lot of inconvenience. But one thing that is promised if you stand strong is a big win in God's books and in God's eyes. Most times when you are called by God to stand for His truth, it is a big invitation that God is extending to you to become one of His children. And if you accept that invitation and stand true to your calling, it is a one-way ticket to sainthood, which is a mark of how true you have been in your mission, which God has called you to fulfill. Many times when you speak God's truth, in front of the world you might sound like an idiot. You might sound like you don't make sense. People might come and tell you, "For years or generations we have done things this way. Why are you now coming to set things different?" Or your near and dear ones might tell you, "Everybody is doing this. So what's so wrong with us also doing this? Why are you being a preacher and asking us to do things differently?" If you're being contradicted by these messages, my dear friend, I have a message for you. God never came for the ordinary. God never preached according to the ways of the world. He came only for one thing. Jesus came only to preach the good news of the Father. Because while everything around us changes, the world around us evolves, time will come today and go tomorrow. But one thing remains: God. God will never change. His love for you will never change. And so when He sends you out into the world, like the disciples, like His own Son Jesus, to speak His truth, you are not alone. God has promised to have your back. Maybe your time in this world might not be the easiest, but He has promised you that He will take care of you when you get to heaven as one of His own children. And so today, as we pass through our earthly time as pilgrims, my dear friends, I only have one request to you. Like G.K. Chesterton said, be that saint who is not afraid to stand up for God's truth and to contradict the ways of the world. Like Saint Bernadette said, do your best to inform everyone around you of the truth that they're missing out on. And if you're somebody to whom God is trying to speak the truth to today, don't be afraid of that truth. That truth might seem miserable right now, but It is the key that can set you free should you choose to embrace it. It is the key that will set you free from the prison of the sins that are taunting you today. And so, my dear friends, don't be afraid to accept the truth, and don't be afraid to stand for God's truth. Have a wonderful day, dear friends. God bless.